Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I'm sitting in the driver's seat of the 2026 Acura Integra. This is the a-spec Tech model that I'm sitting in, and I'm going to show you how to use the center screen. Now, I did lie a little bit in the title because I'm also going to go over some details about the driver's display. So if you were looking for that, yes, we're going to cover that here as well. So let's go over that. Now, you will have the ability to adjust what you see on the left and right side of the driver's display via the scroll wheels right here. Now, you just scroll through, and depending on what you need to know about or go into, you just select that, you push it, and you're good to go. And we can go back out of that by simply scrolling our way out. Now you can see what you can do here. You're going to have your Sirius XM radio. You want to take advantage of that. AM, FM, your phone, depending on what you want. We can go back if we need to. That will take us back to this screen, and then we can come back here, and there's everything that you have. That's pretty easy to deal with. Over here on the right-hand side, you'll see that you have the controls for the head-up display. Now, if you don't have a head-up display, depending on the trim level of your Integra, this obviously won't apply. But I don't know how well you can see it on the windshield right there. But we're going to once again go in and we're going to push the scroll wheel, and then we're going to go in here and select what we need. So depending on what you want, content, we can go right here. We can adjust what is there. You can have the driving assist. You can turn it off if you want to, and then you can come back here and turn it back on. So speedometer, navigation, all of that's going to be there. Now, to get back out of this screen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to select right here. We're going to push the scroll wheel. All I did was just push the scroll wheel, and then we can come in here to brightness. If you need to adjust that, you can obviously adjust. All I'm doing, again, just using the scroll wheel for everything. Adjust up, adjust down, and that will make it easier to see. Then we push the scroll wheel one more time. That brings us back to the main screen. You can adjust the height. Same thing. So all you're doing is adjusting ultimately the position. I don't know that you can see what I'm doing right there. I hope you can, but that is adjusting the ultimate height or position of the head-up display. And there you go. That's taken care of. We're going to go back out of that right here to back and show you what else is here. You can also adjust the gauge display settings. So we can go to hide and show. Not a whole lot here, just depends on what you do or don't want. You've got the check mark right there. You either select it or you don't. And when we go back, we go all the way back to the main screen. Again, here's what else you're going to have if you want the information as far as how far you can drive, your driving range, your average fuel economy, and all the other information. Trip A down there, there's what you're going to have. And you can keep scrolling through depending on what you need. There's your navigation if you need to know which direction you're driving. Some of you might, some of you might not. And then if you need to know who does and does not have their seatbelt on, we have that too. Here is your oil life and your tire pressure monitor. For those of you that want that, I know a lot of people ask me, how do I get that on my driver's display? There's how you do that. I'm just scrolling through with that scroll wheel, and that gives me all of that information, safety support. Now we can go in here and turn some things on and off, depending on what you need to do. You already know how to do that. And just a couple more things to go through, and we're back to brightness and our head-up display. Now we move on to the now standard across all trim levels as of 2026 9-inch touchscreen. I want to show you how to pair your smartphone. This is super easy to do, but this is what we're going to do. So we're going to select Connect New Device, and all you're going to do is follow the prompts on the screen. I'm going to go here to Bluetooth, and then we're going to scroll all the way down here to the very bottom, and you see Acura Integra right there. So we're going to select that, and then we just follow the prompts on the screen. I'm going to select Pair on my phone. We're going to select Allow right there. Pairing request. You just have to be patient and let that do its thing. It's connecting, as you can see on the screen. And then we'll come right here. Now, I'm going to use Apple CarPlay. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto here. So depending on what kind of device you have, you're going to use the same process as what I'm using where this is concerned. So there we go. We've paired everything up. We're ready to go. Your phone is now connected I do need to finish one thing and hit connect on the phone, and it's going to prompt you, like I say. It's going to give you all the different information on the screen as to what you need to pair your smartphone. And there we go. We are with Apple CarPlay. Let me go ahead and go right here. There we go. Everything is set up. Now, in case you're wondering, if you see this screen, but you know your phone is paired, in my case, I'm going to select Apple CarPlay, and there we go. Very simple to do. Very easy to use. Now, if you want to see all apps, you're going to come right here and do that. Now, depending on what you want to see, you can add or take out different things depending on what's checked. As you can see right there, Apple CarPlay, USB, vehicle settings, it's all here. So if there's something you don't see that you know should be here, then make sure that you come to that screen. And then we're going to come right here to Smart Shortcuts and just show you what's here as far as that go. When you come to this screen, it's going to prompt you once again and let you know what you can do, how it works. I'm not going to do all of this, but just to show you what's here. It's so simple, you really don't need me to walk you through the entirety of the process. Once you select to get started, then it's going to prompt you on what you need to do. You're going to have your Sirius XM right there for those of you that want to listen to that. System updates, if you need your system updates, you can do that. If you want to listen to your FM radio, there you go. There that is. Alexa is here. We're going to go over to the next screen, and Bluetooth audio. If you're playing audio through Bluetooth, you're going to need to come in here, and then that will allow you to use what that is. You might need to go to Apple CarPlay. You might need to connect a device. It just depends on what it is you need to do. We hit our back button right there, and there we go. And you know what's here already. You've got AM, just like we did with FM, Wi-Fi hotspot, and then Acura Link. We'll go into Acura Link real fast. I might not be able to show you a whole lot here, but just to give you a bit of an idea of what's going on here as far as what you have connected, help, and support. Now, the good thing here is that you do have a lot of information. You've got your feature guide right here. Nothing in there to show you at the moment, but there that is. And if you have a message, well, there you go. That's where you're going to go to find that message. Now, we're going to go back to our home screen right here, and we're going to go to our screen where we were right there. Go back to that screen. You also have your trip computer. So depending on what you need to do right here, if you want to go in and make changes where that's concerned, you have trip A, trip B. It depends on what it is you want to do. We'll go in right there. It'll give you your information. Don't have anything across all the way here, but it'll give you your average fuel economy. And so all of those great things are there. Something that's very nice, in my personal opinion, I like the vehicle settings screen because it's so easy to see what you need to see depending on what it is you want to do. Driver assist setup. Now, if you're looking for your safety features here, you can go in and actually make changes where this is concerned. So if you want short, normal, or long, we can see how that works as far as your forward collision warning avoidance. You can go back. Everything is basically going to be the same here. Some are just either on or off. But when you go through, you'll find out what all is here and how it works. You can go all the way down here. So if there's something that you don't see that you want to see, you can turn that feature on or off. And that is how you're going to do that on that particular screen. Now, how about driving position setup? So if you want the memory position, guess what? You can do that. This is going to be for the driver's seat. It will automatically go back to where it was set when you get into the vehicle. You can turn that off if you want to. We can also go right here to seat position movement on entry and exit. So what that's going to do is when you go to get out, you turn the vehicle off, the seat will move back to make it easier to get out. When you get in and turn everything on, it will move forward. You can turn that on or off. Just super simple. Some of this you likely don't need me to show you, but just to show you what's going on here, I might as well cover as much of it as I can for those who might be new to this kind of technology. Now, keyless access setup. Door unlock mode. We can unlock driver's door only, or we can do all doors. It just depends on what you want. That's up to you. Everybody will have their preference. Now, your keyless access light flash, if you want that on, again, on or off. And it gives you a description right here if you're wondering, well, what exactly is this particular feature? There is always going to be a description up there above where you can turn it on and off, so you'll know exactly what it is you have. And then if you do like the beep, well, you can have that on. If you don't like the beep, you can turn that off. Going back out here to the main screen one more time, and your remote start system. Now here's something that might be really important for those of you that maybe your remote start isn't working properly. And remote start is right here. This is what it is, engine hold that you see on the remote. So if that's not working, this is where you need to come. Make sure it's not set to off like that. And yes, I am going to go back in and turn it back on to make sure whoever buys this Integra has that feature functioning properly. I can't imagine not wanting to use remote start when it is something you have. And how about lockout protection? You might want to make sure that's turned on just as a precaution. And here's exactly what that is when it's enabled. If the door is locked, then closed, and the keyless remote is not able to be located due to proximity. Now, there might be some interference, such as a cell phone. The doors will unlock and a warning sound will be heard, and then you can locate the remote. The doors will relock in 15 seconds, which is what we have down here. It's what it tells us on the screen. So now we're going to come back here and go over here to lighting setup. Depending on what you want to do, you can turn your auto high beams on and off. Your interior lighting, depending on how long you want it to take for the interior lighting to dim, you have 60, 30, or 15 seconds. Can select that appropriately. We have the headlight auto off timer, and again, 15, 30, and 60 seconds for that. That's with your exterior lighting. We will also find our auto light sensitivity. You can go with mid, high, or max. And here is the auto headlight on with wiper on function. If you're wondering what that is, by law, when it's raining hard enough for you to run your windshield wipers, your headlights are supposed to be on at that time. This means when you turn your windshield wipers on, the headlights will automatically come on, and you don't have to worry about that. So a nice little thing. Some of you may or may not have known about that as far as that goes. Now, we're going to go to our door and window setup. And you'll also have auto door unlock. You can see the different options that you have here as far as that goes. One that I know a lot of people like to have is the walk-away feature. So you can come in here if you have that and it's not working. Well, obviously, you're going to have to come in here and turn it on. Some of you like that, some of you don't. It just depends on your personal preference. Everybody's different on what they like. And then we're going to have our lock presetting here. As you can see, you can turn that on or off. Keyless lock answer back is next, and all that is when you lock the vehicle, the lights will flash. When you unlock the vehicle, they'll flash as well, and you can turn that off if you want to. You can also turn that back on. It just depends on your preference. We're going to go down here to remote window control, and all this is you can use the remote to roll all of the windows down if you want to. Just one of those little convenience features that I know a lot of people don't know about, but that feature is here where you just hold down the unlock button and the windows will come down for you. And let me make sure I do make one thing clear, is that you have to push the button and then hold it down on the second press. That's what's going to tell you here on the screen within 10 seconds, and then it will work. You do have to be within a certain proximity for that feature to work. And we scroll over one more section to individual settings. Now, this offers, well, setting things up depending on what you want. You might want sport for the engine, but you might come out here with steering and you may want normal or comfort. So all you're going through is doing the same thing with suspension, idle stop. Now, unfortunately, for those who may want to know, you cannot permanently disable idle stop or the auto stop start system. You can set it up here where it's disabled in individual mode, but you're still going to have to go into individual mode. So just one of those things, you're going to have to press a button either way. You're just going to have to choose which button it is that you press, and that's what's going to happen. You also have your gauge set up here. So if you want normal, comfort, or sport, you come and choose that, and it will automatically be there when it comes to those particular settings. You can also go into maintenance info. Now, there's not a lot you can do here. This is really not something you should ever have to deal with as an owner. If you take it in for service to have an oil change done, something like that, you're going to see that your oil life is at 100%. So the technician would actually come in here and make changes where that is concerned. Engine oil, once they've changed the oil, they can come in here and reset that. We're going to hit cancel right there. And there you are. We're good to go on that. That is how you use your screen as far as your settings go. And we also have general settings. Now, depending on what you're looking for, you might not find it under vehicle settings. You can come here and find things such as date and time, language, your touchpad sensitivity, system volume. That's one thing that I know a lot of people may not realize is here. Depending on how loud you want things, if you want it to be more quiet, you want to increase the volume, here's where you're going to do that. And then we go back here and you can see what else is here. About, if you want to know about legal information and things such as that, this is where you're going to find all of that. And then we come back out of there. This is so simple that I almost don't need to tell you, but we're going to go through just a couple of things here just to show you factory data reset. Some of these things you don't necessarily have to worry about, but it's here, so I'm going to run through real fast just to show you. Now, if you need to deal with connections, you have a couple of different options here. Smartphone connections, we're going to go into Apple CarPlay, select my iPhone. If you want to disconnect that, you can, and then you can also delete your device as you saw right there. We're going to go back here to connections, basically the same thing. Bluetooth, if we want to change that, we're going to go back in right here and we can deal with that. Now we can go to options and that's going to give us what we might need to do. If we need Acura Link Assist, you can turn that on right there. And then if you want to delete the device, once again, there that is. So in the event that you want to make this a priority phone, then that's where you're going to do that too. So if you have multiple phones connected, then you can do that. We can also connect a new device right there, and we can come back out of the screen right here, and we go to display. Let's see what we have under there. Again, you can adjust things such as brightness, you can adjust the contrast, you can adjust the black level, as you can see down here, so you can make that low or high or whatever you want to do. We'll come back out. Sound. There's something that I know a lot of people are going to be looking for. If you want to adjust the bass and the treble, here's where you're going to come to do that. And then we come back out. You can see what all is here. It's all basically going to work the same way. It just depends on how you want the listening experience to be for you and your passengers. And camera. Not a whole lot to do here, but you can go and make a few little changes where this is concerned. As you can see right there, if you want the fixed guidelines on, you can do the dynamic guidelines. You can turn that on and off right here. You can just go in there and handle that. And depending on the time of year, you might have to reset your clock. And all I did was scroll over one more page, and there is clock. We go up here to settings, and then you can adjust the date and time. Don't have to tell you too much about how to deal with that. You can just come in here and you make sure you set the time right there. Very easy to deal with. So if we want to change that, we can do that. I'm going to leave that as it is, but you can see that you can also come over here and make changes such as the time zone. You're going to have other things here too, date, format, if you want to change that. And then we come back out. We can also go to clock faces. So depending on how you want the clock face to look, if you have that up on the screen, you can change that to one of the presets right here. You have a few different options depending on your personal preference. Some of those things that we see where that is concerned, some people might not even know that that is here. There is your compass. Now, all you're going to do if you bring that up, it's just going to bring up the compass on the screen. So no changes or adjustments to be made right there. And how about your display? We're going to go in here, and this is another place where we can adjust the brightness if we want to. If you want to decrease that or increase, I should say, that is what you're going to do. And ultimately, that is what you have as far as the center screen and the driver's display. I hope this was helpful to somebody. Tried to make it as quick as I could. Tell me down in the comment section if there's something else that maybe I missed that you would like to know about. I'll make that video for you. Thanks for taking the time to watch. As always, I appreciate your time. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.